Record.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much once again for joining us. This is the International Day of the Girl Child webinar being organized by FAWE Ghana. FAWE is Forum for African Women Educationalists. We are doing this together with the Green Africa Youth Organization, GAYO, and then with support as well from CAMFED Ghana and SheRise Technology. Today is International Day of the Girl Child, and basically, what it seeks to do is to provide a platform to highlight the challenges that girls face and to celebrate their achievements. And this year's global theme is The Girl I Am, The Change I Lead, Girls on the Frontlines of Crisis. And it's the same theme that we adopted for our celebration. Officially, my name is Naomi Daku. I am the Communication and Advocacy Officer for FAWE Ghana, and I'm going to be your moderator and host for today's session. I would want to quickly take us through what to expect as we begin the program. We will take some welcome remarks officially from the Executive Director of FAWE Ghana in the person of Mr. Richard Amwini. And then we'll receive official opening remarks from Mrs. Betty Osei-Bunsu, who is the Director of Operations and Programs at GAYO. GAYO is Green Africa Youth Organization. And then we'll highlight or we'll showcase what organizations or these partners that have come together to organize this event would give them the platform to tell us some impact stories. And so we'll definitely have some representatives from FAWE Ghana. We'll have representatives from Green Africa Youth Organization, CAMFED Ghana, and of course, SheRise Technology. After that impact stories highlights or showcase, we will delve into a panel discussion where we are going to discuss girls on the front lines, basically talking about girls who are taking up leadership roles in the areas or in the sectors of education, skills, technology, and climate action. Of course, we'll give you the platform to also share to make your contribution. If you have any questions that our panelists or even our people or the organizations, representatives from the organizations would want to answer or respond to, you're free to share them in the comment section, and you can also share them by just raising your hand, and then we'll give you the platforms. We'll have some rapporteurs to give us a brief or basically reflections on this event, bring the program to a close. Please remember to mute your microphones when you join the call so that there will be no distraction for other participants. Without further ado, I would like to call on Mr. Richard Amwini. Let me quickly check if he's on the call, and then I'll call him to give the opening remarks, after which he would call on Mrs. Betty to give the official opening. Just to give a brief about who Mr. Amwini is, he is the National Coordinator of the Forum for African Women Educationalists FAWE Ghana chapter, where he leads operations in alignment with FAWE Africa's agenda. He is a certified chartered accountant and member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants Ghana, and he holds a Bachelor of Commerce from the University of Cape Coast and an MBA from the University of Professional Studies, Accra, along with multiple postgraduate certificates. With over a decade of experience in advocacy, mentoring, and community engagement, he has coordinated several projects promoting girls' education in underserved districts and facilitated scholarship selection. Mr. Mwini is also an advocate for adolescent sexual reproductive health and rights and gender-responsive pedagogy in schools and communities. He's passionate about gender equity, social justice, and inclusive development, and he remains committed to ensuring no one is left behind. Mr. Mwini, if you are on the call, kindly take the floor and give us the welcome remarks. Thank you. Mr. Mwini, can you hear me? Okay, I think Mr. Mwini is having some technical challenges, and so maybe we'll call him later on to give his opening remarks. If Miss Betty, kindly let me know if you can hear me, please.
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
I don't know what the situation is. Maybe you would want you to come and then give your official opening remarks. I don't know, because we really do not have time. So maybe
It's well noted.
let me call on Mr. Mwini once again. He has just alerted me that he's on the call. Please hold. I think we are struggling to have Mr. Mwini on the call. And so without further ado, I would like to call on Mrs. Betty Ajay, who is a global speaker, climate activist, and circular economy strategist, advancing zero waste solutions across Africa. As operations and programs director at GAYO, she drives community initiatives that turn waste into economic opportunities and shape national policies. She also founded the GAYO Eco Club's campus chapters, empowering young Africans to lead on sustainability and climate justice. Mrs. Betty Ajay, if you are on the call, kindly take the floor to give us the official opening remarks. Thank you.
I am an African girl. I think that was a really lovely song I heard. I just wish that song can continue. And indeed, I am an African girl. Good morning, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, partners, teachers, students, and my dear young ladies. It's a pleasure to give you an opening remarks and welcome you to this year's International Day of Girl Child Celebration under the theme, The Girl I Am, the change I lead, girls on the front lines of crisis. Before I begin, let me tell you a story, as usual. There's this particular lady in a school called Azuma. She was a very shy young lady at Akamu Junior High School in the northern region of Ghana. This lady had full potential. She was so full of dreams, but unsure of herself. But at home, she has been going through a lot of things and she could not speak about them. But one day, her period started unexpectedly in class and her uniform got stained. And she mistakenly stood up. And what happened was everyone burst out laughing in the class, the boys especially. And out of shame, she walked out of the class and did not come back to the classroom. The theme for this year's celebration could not have come at a better time. Across communities in the Upper East region of Ghana and even beyond in Africa as a whole, and even it extends globally, the girl child continues to face barriers. They go from poor access to quality education to, should I call them, perceptions when it comes to menstrual health, to early marriages and limited participation in leadership and inability to contribute to climate related decisions. These challenges continue to deny girls their right to live, learn, and lead. Myself, as a woman, I've lived a journey of story, and I think it's very important that we all hear this story and work towards closing all the gaps and barriers that ladies face. And that's why this gathering is very important. It gives us a space to amplify girls, their voices, to celebrate their achievements and renew our commitment to empowering them to lead change in their schools and communities. So I was very happy when Naomi, you mentioned there'll be impact stories on the works that the partners are doing and including GAYO. At the Growing Africa Youth Organization, we believe that when girls are given the right tools, they become unstoppable. And through our adaptation and resilience portfolio in GAYO, we've trained a lot of ladies in Candida Bongo and Sirgu to produce reusable sanitary pads. We've been able to provide menstrual hygiene education to over 2,000 students and even to their parents and communities. And we've been able to support with a lot of climate leadership training to themselves to be able to participate in climate decisions. And currently we even have like 75 free climate leaders. We've trained, majority of them being leaders, and showing that their story or their stigma does not just end at home. It it's eliminated in general within the society. Now let me continue my story. Through our adaptation and resilience projects, one of our youth climate leaders reached out to the lady who faced that stigma in class, and we were able to take her through some trainings on menstrual hygiene and taught her how to make reusable pads and how to take care of herself. Finally, she was able to regain her confidence, and they went back to the school as well to educate the entire school on not, should I say, stigmatizing young ladies when they see those things. It's normal. We're very happy to see that she was able to go back to school and became very outspoken. I know that this is a lot of solutions that a lot of young people want in their various communities, but we do not see them. Azuma's story reminds us that when ladies are empowered with knowledge and dignity, they rise and they're able to also leave others with them. This lady, as we speak, is currently supporting in the education campaigns we do in the various communities that we operate. But our work doesn't end here. We continue to advocate for communities, for parents, and policymakers to support the education of girls. and ends the stigma around menstruation and provide opportunities that allow girls to thrive in leadership, technology, and environmental action. Our future work focuses on expanding menstrual hygiene clubs to more schools, because currently we're operating in several schools in the north, to provide more vocational training for young women and ensure that ladies, girls are represented in every conversation on climate change and sustainable development. On this note, I just want to say a very big thank you to all the partners who has been able to make this gathering possible, from GAYO on behalf of the executive team to FAWE. We really appreciate you, to CAMFED Ghana, SheRise Technology, and Ghana Education Service. Thanks so much for all the work we've been doing so far to uplift the voices of young ladies and also advance their empowerment. As we celebrate today, let's just remember that empowering girl child is not a favor, it's a necessity for the progress of our communities and our nation, as Khadija put it. Thank you so much, and it's a pleasure to be here. Over to you, Naomi. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Betty, for such a profound official opening remarks. I believe that she's literally giving us a brief of what is going to happen today and why we are even here, or why we are even gathered in the first place. One key thing that struck me in your presentation or in your delivery was when you said, when girls are given the right tools, they become unstoppable. And it is time that we delve into, or we try to analyze or see how organizations are supporting these young girls on how they can lead in terms of, or in times of crisis. Thank you very much, Mrs. Betty, for that inspiring opening. At this point, I would want us to move into my favorite segment of the program, which is the impact stories. This is where we pause to celebrate the incredible work that's happening across various different sectors: education, climate, technology, innovation. And we just want to hear how our partner organizations and even FAWE are helping girls not just to survive crisis, but to lead change from within their various communities. So as we listen, I invite everyone really to reflect on how these initiatives can be scaled. We should reflect on how they can be replicated and supported to ensure that no girl's potential is lost to crisis, basically. And Betty also mentioned that when we empowering the girl child is not a favor. We are not doing the girl child a favor. This is something, an obligation upon us, that we are all supposed to come together and support the girl child, because for a very long time, the girls have not really had a platform. But now girls are being daring, they are moving, and they are doing things, innovative things in various sectors and areas to bring about change. And it's not just any change, positive change in their various communities. I wouldn't want to bore you with so much talk. I would like to begin by calling on our panelists from FAWE Ghana in the person of Ellie Kachapo. Ellie Kachapo is a development communication specialist with over a decade of experience in program management, strategic partnerships, and advocacy, with a deep passion for gender equity, youth engagement, adolescent sexual reproductive health and rights, and social impact. He has successfully led donor-funded initiatives that drive policy reform, behavior change, and community development. Throughout his career, Ellie has spearheaded high-impact programs across multiple organizations. At the the Ghana Girl Guides Association, he led multiple stakeholder advocacy efforts, successfully campaigned for sexual health accessibility, and contributing to tax policy reform on sanitary products. As the community radio engagement advisor, I think he has a lot of credentials, but I'm going to summarize it, that he is experienced in concept development and proposal writing, strategic partnership, mentoring, training, facilitation, and organizational development. His commitment to feminist advocacy and social justice continues to guide his work in building transformative programs that empower communities and create lasting change. Ellie, if you are on the call, you are very welcome to join us today for the Impact Stories highlights as we celebrate International Day of the Girl Child. Next on my list is a representative from SheRise Technology in the person of Mr. Bernard Upata. He is the head of EdTech at SheRise Technology and is an educator and technology leader dedicated to empowering women and youth through digital innovation, entrepreneurship, and climate-smart solutions. As co-founder and head of EdTech at SheRise Tech Hub, he leads initiatives that bridge education, technology, and agriculture to drive inclusive and sustainable growth in Ghana. He champions programs that enable young people to gain digital literacy and actively participate in the digital economy, while supporting women entrepreneurs to transition from livelihood activities to sustainable enterprises. His work also helps women farmers or female farmers in climate vulnerable communities to adopt climate smart practices and build resilient rural economies, building pathways for women to thrive, lead, and shape a more equitable future. Thank you so much, Mr. Bernard Upata. If you are here, you are welcome to join us today. Next on my list is going to be introduction for the representative for CAMFED Ghana in the person of Diana Lugutwa, who is a senior programs officer at CAMFED Ghana, where she works as part of a dedicated team implementing initiatives that advance girls' education, young women's empowerment, and community development. She has over a decade of experience in the nonprofit sector, promoting the rights and well-being of marginalized women and children. She has also collaborated with various partners and stakeholders to strengthen gender equality, safeguarding, and youth leadership within educational and community structures. Her work focuses on creating safe, inclusive spaces that enable girls and young women to lead, learn, and thrive. She holds 2 master's degrees, one in international business and another in development management, and the certificates in gender equality and social inclusion. She's passionate about creating safe, inclusive environments that enable women and young people to thrive. Thank you so much, Madam Diana Liguthwa, if you are on the call. Our last person will be the representative from Green Africa Youth Organization in the person of Khadija Azuma Brima. She is the Community Engagement Coordinator for Adaptation and Resilience Project at the Green Africa Youth Organization. She leads climate change and menstrual hygiene education across schools in the Upper East region, empowering young people and women with skills in reusable sanitary pad production and climate resilience. Through GAYO, she has spearheaded initiatives such as youth climate leaders training of trained 75 young people or young leaders in Bogo, Kadiga, and Sirigu districts. If you are on the call, thank you so much. Thank you all so much for joining us. I would like to give you the platform basically to say a few words. I will start with you, Khadija Azuma Brima, if you're on the call.
Hi everyone, good morning.
Good morning, Khadija, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you very much. So my network I was having network problems, so can you kindly just tell me where we are right now, because I was really having network challenges.
Okay, so we are currently on the panelist where we are going to be sharing the impact stories.
Okay, thank you.
Hello, can you hear me, Khadija?
Yes, I can hear you.
I'm saying that this is the segment where we are going to share the impact stories of the various organizations.
So, okay, so right now, I'm starting, please.
Yeah, sorry about that, Naomi. So Khadija, this is the period where we are sharing GAYO's impact stories in the North, especially as it relates to young girls. Let me know if your network is stable to give that update, or if not, you could delegate that to me and I can give that update. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So GAYO, under the Adaptation Resilience Project, we have been doing a lot of work in the Upper East region regarding mental health and then climate education. So GAYO, in partnership with Climate Action Africa, we have been able to partner with Future at Play in Kenya to train 75 youths in the Upper East region, that is Kandega, Sirigu, and then Bongo. So these youth climate leaders, after the training, they are in their various communities serving as climate ambassadors. So we have some of the youth climate leaders that are currently volunteering with GAYO under the Adaptation Resilience Project, leading menstrual hygiene education in 9 different schools in Kandega and Sirigu. Also 3 schools in the Congo district that are in climate related. So at Green Africa Youth Organization under the Adaptation Resilience Project, we believe that the youth are the future. And then this training that we had, it wasn't only priority was given to the girl child. So the selection process, about 80% of them were women. So today's program, International Day of the Girl Child. So these youth, they are not just in their various communities doing nothing, but they are in their various communities supporting the girl child when it comes to menstrual health. And then they partner with Ghana Education Service, junior high schools, then leading them and educating them on menstrual health. And then also, we also have a project that is we also have a center in Kandega called the Adaptation Resource Center that we train 5 young ladies to produce reusable sanitary pads. And these reusable sanitary pads go a long way to support girls in junior high schools that are deprived, and then they find it very difficult to get menstrual product. So with these reusable sanitary pads, they are given to our partner schools, the young ladies there, to also help them manage their messes. So thank you very much. These are the few things GAYO is doing in the Upper East region. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Khadija, for that brief on what GAYO is doing. Just so people know, GAYO is a group doing remarkable work in the sectors of youth empowerment and climate action. As Khadija has said, we can all tell the inspiring things and the many, many innovative things that they are doing, especially even in the Upper East region. Next, I'm going to call on Amos Kachepo to unmute himself and basically tell us what FAWE has been doing. FAWE has long been at the forefront of promoting girls' education and leadership across Ghana. I want you to just tell us what are some of the stories that you can share regarding the work that FAWE Ghana has been doing over the years.
Thank you very much, and good morning, everyone. I hope I'm audible enough. A bit about FAWE and what we've been doing over the years with regards to impact in the area of gender, in the area of girls' education, in the area of sexual and reproductive health and rights. So, an organization that has been in existence over the last 30 years. We We have. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
So an organization that's been in existence over the last 30 years plus, we've had like series of projects and programs that has impacted girls and young women, especially. Notable amongst our project is ensuring the enrollment of girls in school. Efficient contribution in the implementation of the FQ, which is the free compulsory universal basic education bit. We have also helped and advocated for the 50-50 quota of girls in school. So universal basic education for girls especially. For those of us who are old enough, we would trace back our advocacy as far back as the Send Your Girl Child to School campaign that was run some 20 something years ago. Currently, FAWE has been engaging in two major projects. One highlight of that is in sexual health and reproductive education, which is being implemented in the Upper East region. And this project is basically aimed at ensuring that young people especially have an understanding of their sexual reproductive health and rights, and then also know how to access information, what type of information, and then where to access services with regards to their reproductive health. Another major project that we're doing is the Mastercard Phase 2 project that is giving some scholarship and immigration incentives to girls, especially in the area of STEM. So currently, it's being implemented in partnership with 7 universities across the country, where any young person between the ages of 18 to 24 who has the opportunity to go to school, but then is unable to fund themselves or come from like less privileged background, has the opportunity to actually apply and get funded. And so for us, empowering girls, like the name of the organization goes, it's Forum for African Women Educationists. And so education sits at the heart, and then the empowerment of especially the girl child is something that we are very passionate about. We have like a passionate team, and our successes for us goes beyond even the girls. It targets right from parents to the people who need to be impacted on, because we believe that for us to be able to achieve an activity or project target, it needs to have a holistic approach. And so there's quite a number of things out there. I would use this platform to say, check out our website, follow us on our socials, and then follow us on the work that we're doing, and then see how best we can all come together and collaborate. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ellie, for that brief on what FAWE Ghana is doing to empower young women and girls and what they have been doing or what they have done even in the past or since its inception. I would like to call on Bernard Opata. If you are here, kindly take the floor to give us the impact story from SheRise Technology Empowerment Program. Can you hear me, please? Okay, I'm not sure Bernard heard me. And so we'll move quickly to Diana from CAMFED to share the impact story. Diana, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Please
Okay,
proceed.
good morning, everybody. It's exciting to be here. Thank you, FAWE, for the invite. You should have seen me earlier when everybody was talking, because it's like everybody's talking about the things I planned to say. When Betty started her story, I said, is Betty sure this is not a CAMA member she's talking about? And then Ellie started talking about the girls' education, and this is so much as so for CAMFED, we are into girls' education and the young women empowerment, and it's so much aligned with this year's theme that I think that this was crafted for all of us on this call. In terms of impact stories and projects, I do not even know where to begin, but in summary, for over 30 years, we've been around in Ghana. We have primarily focused on girls' education from basic to senior high and tertiary. And so far, we have supported almost about 1 million girls to go to school, stay in school, and complete school successfully, because that is one of the most important things. Particularly if, for those of us who have exposed working in the northern part of Ghana, the going to school might not be so much of a challenge, but as Betty shared, the staying in school and completing school because of these menstrual issues are something that is of excess. And so if you ask us, one of our flagship programs is the sanitary pad that we give to our girls to be able to stay in school and do not have an excuse not to be in school during the time of the month. In terms of tertiary as well, we have implemented over 10 years with the Mastercard, as well as Ellie had mentioned along the line, to support over 3,000 girls to complete tertiary. Beyond the direct supports to our clients that we give, we have also done a number of school resources. And so currently we are in over 400 junior high schools, which we call our partner schools. And we are also working with 83 senior high schools, which we call our partner schools, where we basically will select our clients or our young women from. And then when it comes to the tertiary institutions, we work with all the government tertiary institutions, both the universities and training colleges as well. And the second leg of our implementation is that we do not end when we support you to go to school, complete school. But then again, we look at your economic empowerment, and that comes into our transitions program, where we have been able to support over 300 of our young women to start, sustain, and grow their businesses. Then again, this will come back to trickle down to the impact that they would have in their families, in their communities, and in their districts. This is very heartwarming anytime you come across a young woman you would have supported, either in school or enterprise, in a way showing something very different. And I wanted to share in one of the stories where you'd visit a hospital currently in Tamale, and you're busy trying to look for a doctor to attend to you. If we are familiar with the Tamale Hospital, you know how busy that place can get. And you are tapped, and it's a CAMA member who is a medical doctor and will be attending to you, and that's so heartwarming. We've had stories of going to a police station for some support, and then there's a CAMA member who is attending to you, and that's very heartwarming. In a very recent engagement, I told a colleague of mine that if you are not careful, we become the signposts where all the girls that we are supporting are having very great impact stories, and we are standing at one direction. But it's also very, very heartwarming every time we are on the field, we are in an institution or an organization, and you see one of the girls, if she had not come through the educational support, might not be where she is. And she tells you that if not for the supports, I wouldn't be here. It's always heartwarming to hear that. So thank you for the opportunity to tell the story. I think that we all have great stories to share, and we'll keep supporting the girls to get the right impact across. Thank you, Naomi.
Thank you so much, Diana. I loved the responses that I've received. Thank you to all our partners. I think we are yet to still receive the impact story from SheRise Technology. Let me quickly check if Bernard, you're on the call. Kindly let me know so that you take the floor and give the impact story from SheRise Technology Empowerment Hub. I think I see you on the call, so please unmute yourself and give your story.
Hello. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, FAWE and the team for putting this together and for inviting SheRise. My name is Bernardo Pata. I'm a co-founder and the head of EdTech at SheRise. For SheRise, our focus has been on women and how to support them in various ways to be able to use digital tools, to be able to use entrepreneurship, to be able to adapt to the changes that are happening in the world, especially the digital era, the climate change, etc. One of the key things that we as SheRise are doing is our agriculture program that is touching the lives of young women, especially in the North. Over the past few months, we have been in 3 communities in the North, which are actually hard to target. Grubagu near Daboya, we are in Buklong, we are in Uflogo, and the idea is how can we support farmers to be able to adapt to climate change and be able to have value addition to improve their economic situation. One of the things we realize is there are young girls in the community that are already doing good for their families because they can read and write to support their parents. We have these WhatsApp messages, SMS messages that we send to their parents on information about the planting season, is it going to rain, when to plant, etc. For some people, these are just messages or advisory. But for families over there, it is what made the difference between hardship and actually successful harvest. Using these young ladies that stand in the gap for their families to be able to interpret these messages, to be able to guide their families and remind them as to what to do, when to do it, gives them that ability to lead in this era of climate change. So they are not perceived as only they rather getting support, but they are leading the change at their family level in their communities. And for us, the impact is what a young girl can do with a mobile phone, creating a future for their families. And for us, that is critical in this age that we find ourselves. If this can be replicated in climate vulnerable zones, we believe that this approach can extend to other aspects that we can actually leverage that energy, synergy, and that dedication of young girls to their families to create a whole change, especially at the frontiers of crisis, which we are seeing. As you are aware, the climate situation is not coming. It is here with us. And for us, that is one of the areas that we are focusing, and that is where our impact story is emerging from, using young girls with a phone to creating the future for their family. And once they are seen, they are able to lead. And once they are able to lead, it gives them the confidence to achieve more. And for us, that is the story that we want to share with all the young girls, that this is your season. There are so many things you can do with technology. We see technology as an enabler. So let's focus on that. And with that in your hand, you can create different futures. You can lead the change that you want to see, and you can be the future, you can be the future leaders that we want to have in this country, leading us at the frontiers of crisis, which is necessary for us in this technological age. Thank you very much.
Thank
I
you.
wish you all the best going forward.
Thank you so much, Bernard, for that presentation. I would have been so sad if we had not gotten the opportunity to hear these words from you, especially also representing SheRise Technology. Thank you to all our persons or representatives from our partner institutions for sharing these inspiring stories. Now, there's one special case that I want us to highlight. We are talking about girls who lead the change they bring about and all of that. I just want to give a platform to a very special woman or lady who is currently a nurse or studying BSc nursing. She is a youth climate leader and a climate change activist. She's also a gender, sexual, and reproductive health and rights advocate. And I would like to give her the platform to just share her story as a youth climate leader and what she's been doing as an individual in her various communities. So Jennifer Anapoga Agamola Agamoga, sorry if I murdered your name, but if you're on the call, kindly take the floor and just share your story with us. Thank you.
Good morning. I believe I'm heard well.
So we can hear you.
Good. So it's Jennifer Anapoka Agamorga. So just like you said, I was trained by GAYO as a youth climate leader. And since the training, trust me, I've seen myself doing things and leading change I never knew I could in certain areas. For the girl child, for menstrual health, maybe it's okay. For my nursing background, maybe I have an idea of what to do or how to go about it. But then climate change, I was like, oh, okay, well, let's go and see what happens. Then after the training, I've had the opportunity to help a lot of people in the community with a lot of smart ideas, climate smart ideas that people are seeing resulting. I remember my very last encounter at a community in Kandega, where we had to go and design help the farmers create Zypate and half moons on their farms. It was a very nice experience to see the joy on the faces of the farmers, because for them, farming is one of the major source of income. To feed is from the farm, to wear is from the farm. For the girl to go to school, it's on the farm. And so they're always very welcoming to news of however they would or what they would do to improve on their farm activities. And so it was a nice thing to be able to be a reason why another person is smiling, another person is saying that, okay, I'm going to do better. Another person is saying that I am seeing change. It's very heartwarming. And for the girl child, the news of menstrual hygiene, menstrual education, sexual rights, and health, it's something that you might not really notice the needs of the girl child until you have an encounter with them. You might feel like, oh, in school they probably will be told, at home they probably will be told, but then you have an encounter with one particular girl, and then you realize that everything you are saying seems so strange to the girl. And then you have to start from the very beginning and even tell the person why the person is menstruating and tell the person what to do. For me, I remember my very first period, and that is why it's not very so surprising. For my very first period, when I told my mom, I was just 12 years. My mom didn't believe me. She was like, how can a 12 years old girl menstruate? How? She had to pick up her phone and call another elderly woman somewhere to confirm. And the woman was like, oh yeah, it's possible. And what did she do after that? She gave me a rag to use. And that was very that was a point for me to know that there was something I needed to do, because in school I had sanitary pad, and then now I am not getting a sanitary pad. What's the difference? Why am I not getting what other girls are using? And so since I joined GAYO, it's been a turning point to be able to be more passionate. I had that passion already from my a little camera background and there, but then it more fueled my energy more to know that the real stories are down there. You need to put your ear down there. Let the girls see you as someone they can easily speak to. Let them know that this particular issue I am facing, they will listen and will not judge me. They will listen and will do something about it. They wouldn't just listen and keep quiet. They wouldn't listen and tell me how bad I am or how stubborn I am. But it's an opportunity for them to feel that relief, to know that there's someone outside the home that they can speak to, and then they will be heard. And so it's very nice working as a climate youth leader, not only in climate action, but also championing menstrual hygiene as well in the communities here. I remember having to give my menstrual bead to another girl to aid her calculate her cycle, because for me, I can use a smartphone and I have apps that will help me. She doesn't have access to that. And so these are some of the very little things we are doing back home in our various communities, in our various homes, as climate youth leaders trained by GAYO. And we are really seeing results.
Thank you so much, Jennifer, for that story. Clearly, you are doing wonderful things in the area of sexual health and reproductive health and rights. And it's good to also know that climate action or climate change is something that you have also been able to familiarize yourself with. And what I just want to share is the fact that what I took from your presentation is the fact that almost everything you shared, there's a bit of education, there's a bit of technology, there's a bit of climate action. And so it tells you that this partnership or this forum that these partners have come or have created is very intentional and is very needed, because yes, we may be working individually or institutionally in various sectors, but when we collaborate, when we come together and we strengthen the ties that we have, definitely we can do transformative work in the areas of women empowerment and gender equality and equity. And I'm very, very happy to hear these stories that you all have shared. And so thank you to all our partners for the powerful stories of transformation. And also, I just want to add that impact isn't just about statistics. When we talk about impact, a lot of people think we are looking at numbers, the number of people you've done this. It's part of the story, but we want to see the change in people's lives. We want to see how your initiatives are redefining norms, things that are seen as normal. How are we changing the narrative? How are we redefining norms? And how it is also bringing renewed hope. Jennifer's story is a story of renewed hope. It tells you that she did not have knowledge in specific areas, but because of the work of or the knowledge she was exposed to, she's been able to have that renewed hope of or where she's saying that she didn't know that she could lead the change that she's leading right now. And so that tells you that working in the various organizations is not just about you doing things to get the numbers, but it's about how these things that, or these initiatives that we are coming up with, these initiatives that we are putting together for the communities we serve, how are they transforming the lives of those people? And so I'm really happy and glad and grateful to you all for sharing your stories. Before we transition into our next session, I would like to ask each of you, those who share the stories or the representatives from the various partner organizations, just tell us in one word, leave us one word or phrase that really captures what impact means to your organization in the context of girls' leadership. When we talk of girls' leadership, when we talk of innovation among the girl child, what does it mean to you to be able to impact them in the context of your organization? I'd like to read some of them out. So if you can quickly put them in the chat. So for CAMFED, what does it mean for you to say you have been able to impact girls' leadership? What does it mean for FAWE Ghana to say, based off of the stories you all have shared, what does it mean to say you have impacted the girls in leadership? So please drop them in the chat and then I'll read them out to all of us, and then we'll move on to the next segment or the next section. So I would like to see from the chat, please. Yeah. I think I've seen one from CAMFED. Diana says systems change. Indeed, the change in systems is what CAMFED will term as impact to them. I would like to also see from GAYO and of course FAWE Ghana and SheRise Technology. Bernard, for your organization, listening to the story you shared, the impact story you shared, in one word or in just a phrase, what does it mean for your organization to say they have impacted in the areas of girls' leadership? As we wait, I would like to bring these same persons on board, and then would delve into our panel discussion where we are going to be talking about the girls on the front lines in terms of education, skills, technology, and climate action. What does it look like for girls to be at the front lines? These are things that we would want to deliberate on to be able to inform our next steps, even from this meeting. We have a very special surprise after the whole discussion, and so we'll highlight that when after the Q&A. But for the panel discussion, we want to focus on girls on the front lines. We want to know what girls are doing from these various organizations, how they are transforming lives, and how their transformation is causing women and girls to also take up initiatives or come up with initiatives to resolve crises that may arise in their various communities. I see that FAWE Ghana has put one in the chat which says human resource development. Indeed, human resource development is what FAWE Ghana is into. While we wait, I would want us to quickly introduce our panelists again. For FAWE Ghana is going to be Amos Kachapo. He is the program officer here at FAWE Ghana. For the GAYO representative, we'll have Khadija Zuma Brahma to also come again to join the panel. For SheRise Technology, of course, we'll have Bernard Opata again, and then we'll have Diana from CAMFED. So if you all are on the call, thank you all so much for joining us or to partner with us to make this event a success. So in this conversation, for the panel discussion, I am looking at how we are going to explore how girls in Ghana are not only adapting to crisis, but they are leading the response through education, through technology, through skills and climate action. So I've already introduced you guys, so let's just delve straight into the conversation. I just want us to have from the broader view across the various sectors. We have education for CAMFED and FAWE Ghana. We have climate action for GAYO. We have technology for SheRise Technology. Tell me, how are girls redefining what leadership looks like in times of crisis? What examples or lessons can you share? Lessons that stand out to you. What can you share? How are girls redefining what leadership looks like in times of crisis? Maybe I'll start with you, GAYO, and then we'll proceed. So GAYO, if we have Khadija on the call, maybe you can take the floor and tell us your response to this question.
Hello.
Hi, Khadija. We can hear you perfectly.
Okay. So for GAYO, under the Adaptation Resilience Project, how girls are responding to climate crisis in the Upper East region. Like I said earlier, we already have our youth climate leaders in the various communities in Kandega, Bongo, and Sirgu. So these girls, they are not reluctant. Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So these girls are not reluctant. So I must confess that since our training that we had last year, we didn't make a mistake by letting the girls be 80% in the training. So these girls are those that are serving as climate ambassadors in the various schools that they are leading the education. So not only the menstrual education they are leading, they are also helping these students to plant trees around their schools. So for example, in Kurugu Junior High School like this, for the past 3 years, these girls have been able to support them plant about 150 trees in the Kurugu school, junior high school. So these girls, they are not reluctant. And then they are also helping farmers in their various communities adapt to climate smart method of farming. Like Jennifer rightly mentioned, during this rainy season, they help their parents to use new method of farming, such as the Zypate method of farming. They have new, and then the stone lines method that and that is for those in the hilly areas, that's around Bongo area. So these girls, they are so responsive when it comes to climate crisis in the Upper East region. Thank you very much, Naomi.
Sorry, I was muted. I was speaking, but I was muted. Bernard, I was asking if you were on the call, kindly tell us how girls are doing, are redefining what leadership is in times of crisis, based off of what your organization has been doing and how your community people or your community members are responding.
Thank you. Often, in our traditional sense of the world, we see young girls as only needing support from the elderly. That has a power dynamic within that. One of the things we want to do is to reshape this power dynamic by making these young girls visible. And once they are visible in how they support their families, then they are not seen as those needing the support, but those leading the support. Like I mentioned clearly, one of the ways we are supporting farmers is through the climate action. Now, these young girls have more digital literacy than the older generation. So they serve more as a bridge between the current situation and the older generation, using technology as an enabler of transformation. Can you hear me? Hello? Okay. So by helping their parents use this digital information, converting it into understandable ways for them, like the earlier speaker from GAYO said, they are actually supporting their parents implement some of the climate change. Most of this information is sent through digital means, and they are able to lead that and bridge the gap between the technology and then their parents. That is one of the ways that we are changing power dynamics, giving these youngest visibility, because immediately they are seeing the family as supporting an important activity, as contributing to the value and the economic situation of the family through this information they are impacting. Then they are able to lead, they are able to have the confidence to do more. And beyond the family, they go into the wider community and they are seen as the leaders of the community. And the more we have such young girls in each family, we are going to create a hedge, and within the community or the community level, we have more of those, and that can spread. So that is a way that we are changing power dynamics, moving or putting the power in the hands of these young girls to lead and to have the confidence to be able to guide their families into a better future through this crisis that we find ourselves in, called climate change. So that's a way that SheRise using technology to break through to these young girls.
Thank you so much. Amos, if you can take the floor.
Thank you very much. I think when I got the invitation to be on this panel, I was asking myself what exactly I was going to say. And also when the introduction started, I was like, we're talking about International Day for the Girl Child, yet I was introduced and then a male was introduced, and we have like a lot of males in this conversation when this conversation is about women. But then I digress a bit. Let me also highlight that in trying to find the equity and equality we're looking for, we need to be allies in the cause. To respond to the question, I think let me start from a broader picture of how women especially have actually risen up to the occasion in times of crisis. So let's take the COVID period. What happened? During the COVID period, we saw the Me Too movement that actually launched a platform for conversations and open conversations about issues of gender-based violence. And that's not the first crisis. We've seen in war-torn countries, in like disaster-torn countries, in famine-torn countries, how women have been very resilient and have led in those situations. Even in Ghana's very history, we so much highlight Yasantua and her rise to leadership in a crisis. So there are historical connotations on how women are very resilient when it comes to the issue of leadership within crisis period. Now, to delve into it and how young girls are taking up opportunities and then leading, we see that across the different communities that we operate in. You see, I was happy when Bernard highlighted that we sometimes see that, oh, women need the support, or women are supposed to provide the support and do not have to be in front. But then leadership does not always have to be from the forefront. Leadership can actually also happen from the back. And that is one of the things that I think as organizations or as agencies or as partners for change, we need to be highlighting every now and then the kind of leadership that happens from the back and how it impacts the greater good of the communities that we find ourselves in. And so to talk about FAWE Ghana and what we do, our structure, even right from the head, we have like a dominant female staff, like the organization's name tells, and it kind of creates a platform that goes beyond education in academic terms. It talks about impact from practical terms, where even with the activities that we're carrying out with regards to either the MCF project or with the SHARE project, we have a collaboration where young people's capacities are built and they are given the opportunity to actually lead. And it is not an imposed leadership. Sometimes when they are exposed in the trainings or in the sessions that we organize or in the conversations that we're having with the communities, people begin to have self-actualization moments where they look at the issues and then ask themselves what they can do. Jennifer is from GAYO or from CAMA, like she's a member of CAMA, but you would realize that she had to go through a process for that self-actualization to happen. And those self-actualizations happen when you actually set the platforms and make it available. And it is also supposed to be engaging. So if you look at our approach, especially with regards to the share projects that we're running, it's on different levels of engagement, where there is the community engagement bit that helps with the self-actualization process, where people are talking about all these problems, and then our engagement highlights what can we do to solve it. Because I'm sure if we open a forum and say, oh, let us all talk about our problems, we won't finish the call today. But then there's that one question of, okay, as we're talking about this, how do we solve it? And most of the time, as organizations trying to effect change and then help people get into a certain space, we tend to want to proffer solutions instead of listening. And so when we stop proffering solutions and then get these young girls to start coming up with that solution, and that is when the self-actualization moment actually happens. And so then you would realize that you get leaders emerging out of these conversations who go back and not just hear the things that you're talking about, but actually start taking steps. So I'll give an example of something that happened recently on one of our conversations. We're having a training on SRH services, talking about menstruation, and then talking about products. And then we spoke about the disposable sanitary pad, the disposable sanitary pad, the reusable cloth pad, and then the menstrual cups. And for a lot of people, it's like, oh, we've never seen it, but we've heard about it. And then when the question of who would want to use it came up, only 2 people raised their hands in at least in one of the sessions that I was part of. And so we thought it wise to try and see what will happen. If I tell you today, in the last month, we've distributed about 120 menstrual cups because of 2 people. These are some of the things. So these 2 people heard about something, they were curious about it, they had their self-actualization moment. And in going back to their community, they rose to the occasion where they realized okay, if I'm going to use a product that's going to save me, that I can use for 10 years, and I don't have to worry about every month where I need to buy a disposable sanitary pad that's costing me and economically making me like dependent on somebody, then I can actually get more people. So as crises happen, self-actualization goes along with those crises. And in those moments, people rise. I think sometimes as organization, in looking for leaders in crisis, we tend to look for the strongest and then the loudest. But sometimes it is the quiet ones and the people who are slow to action, who actually become the leaders we can jump on and use. And so for us as FAWE, this opportunity of ensuring that girls rise to the occasion has a process that makes it involving and inclusive, where everybody's voice is valued, everybody is heard, and everybody has the opportunity to participate in the decision that they are making. So that at the end of the day, it is not just pointing out, oh, you are good, so lead the process, or you are slow, so be in the back. And so when we have that inclusive engagement, I believe that in whichever crisis that these girls find themselves, they would be resilient and rise to the occasion in that regard. So that has been our approach, and so far it's been effective. We have a lot young people rising to the occasion and then actually ensuring that they are coming out good in the way they go about their stuff.
Right. Thank you so much, Ellie, or Amos. I think you have literally summarized all of the questions that I had planned to ask as follow-up. But then I'm going to move straight into SheRise Technology. I just want to find out from you, technology is now at the heart of every transformation agenda. SheRise has been using digital tools to empower girls, but access still remains uneven. I just want to find out from you what strategies have proven most effective in making tech empowerment accessible and relevant to girls, especially in rural or low resource settings. I hope that I've not gone back to someone I had already engaged. Kindly correct me. I have gone back to someone I've already engaged there. So I think the last person that I need to ask is GAYO. Or GAYO has already responded. Yeah, CAMFED, yes. Diana, you have not spoken. Please tell us how your empowerment initiatives have contributed to redefining leadership amongst girls, especially in the education space, and then social protection, basically. Please tell us.
All right. Thank you, Naomi.
Diana, please, are you on the call?
Can you hear me? I am speaking, but I think you can hear me.
Okay, I can hear you now.
All right. So thank you. I think for us, the model of having a CAMFED association, the alumni of the young women that we have supported through school, is the story we tell every time that has changed the narrative, because these are young women who have come together to change the story, and they have a motto of young women leading change, and that alone tells us how the leadership is being formed in the various communities. And currently they have about 70,000 membership in Ghana, and you would find them in almost every community that you would be. And these are young men who have lived in their story. They have been transformed by the power of education, and they have decided to give back. And so most of them would volunteer their time to go back to either a junior high school, a senior high school, to mentor girls and boys, to say that I have been here before. My advice is to do A, B, C, D, and they are called the Learner Guide. So we have the Learner Guide program where CAMA members volunteer their time, and twice every week they have a session on the school calendar to be able to go back to impact. And then when they leave school, we have those that we call the transition guides. Again, these are CAMA members who have said that, you know what, because we come from very marginalized communities and our backgrounds, we do not have a lot of role models. For those of us who have been able to walk this journey, we want to also volunteer our time to serve as transition guides. We would handhold the younger ones who are coming from senior high school for at least 6 months to tell them that once you complete school, the option for you is not to go to the south or any part of Ghana to become a KIA. It is not to go and do any domestic chores. It's to be able to see what you want, define your path. And in what we do, we have 4 pathways. Define the pathway, your career pathway. Do you want to go back to school? Do you want to start some entrepreneurship on yourself? Do you want to go into apprenticeship? Do you want to do something else? We will support you, handhold you, work with you to be able to successfully transition from senior high school. And then for CAMA, the motto is that no girl is left behind. So they are actually leading the change in their various communities. One of the things that, in terms of crisis, that would say that in every community, you'd find a CAMA member who is always looking out for a girl that is being forced into marriage. And they would quickly mobilize the girl child officer, the social welfare, to be able to rescue these girls from such crisis, if we are allowed to say. So definitely for the CAMA or the CAMFED alumni network that we have, it has defined the leadership that we want. And you clearly will see them in the front line of everything that we are talking about. Thank you.
Hello, Naomi.
Hello.
Just to add a quick point.
Okay.
Like that. So at SheRise, one of the things we are doing, 2 things actually to solve or to redeem the issue of access is we have a hub at Madina that we have almost all the various technologies available, and we open it up to young ladies to be able to come. If they have schoolwork to do, they can come and use the internet facilities, excuse me, to be able to assess that. That is one way that we are actually solving that issue of access to infrastructure and technologies for them. The other way is every week we run a free training program from cybersecurity, which we just did yesterday. Last week was digital tools. Next week is going to be data analysis. So we provide these free training sessions for these young girls to be able to become digital literate, and that is our focus. And with that power, they are able to do a lot more things. So these are just 2 simple approaches or models that we currently run. In future, the idea is to be able to set up this in the communities that we go to be able to have this ongoing training. And then we have this community, the SheRise community. Like Madam rightly said, that's also another one, to be able to have a network of young ladies that can interact among themselves, to be able to have sessions, to be able to have on-site opportunities to interact, and also to engage them with mentors, which is very important in our path, have those resources. So that is just how SheRise is actually tackling the access to.
Thank you so much, Bernard. Thank you so much, and thank you to you all. I would like to move right straight to Khadija. I just want you to highlight, definitely there are some challenges. There are some challenges or hindrances or maybe systemic gaps. So I want you to highlight how these challenges or what challenges and these systemic gaps are limiting girls' access or ability to scale their environmental and sustainability solutions. So you have empowered women, you have empowered girls to be leaders in their various communities in tackling climate crisis and also improving or calling for sustainability. What challenges or systemic gaps are limiting these girls' ability to scale up their solutions in the various communities that they're operating in?
Okay, thank you very much, Naomi. So as these girls are leading climate education in their communities and in their schools, and they still have some challenges that that hinders them from being able to discharge their duties very well. So I will say that one of the challenges that these young girls face is inadequate menstrual hygiene facilities.
Okay.
So if these girls are having the menstrual hygiene education in the junior high schools, so most of the 12 schools that we are having, they are having the education. I can say that it's just only 3 schools that have proper standards and facilities, changing facilities and washrooms. For the rest of the schools, they don't even have, some don't even have washrooms where these girls can use, or maybe when they are on their menstrual period. Schools like Anisore Junior High School, Akamo Junior High School, even to get a washroom self is a challenge. So this has been a challenge to our youth leaders, because they educate them when they are in their measures what they should do, and when they are in their measures and they are on school, how they will be able to change their menstrual product is a challenge. And we are moving into the dry season too. So there is no place where they can hide and then change their sanitary pads. So it's a challenge for our youth leaders that are leading this education. And when it comes to our tree planting, this is the dry season. So most of the schools, they don't have water bodies they don't have boreholes that are near them. So it's always in the rainy season that they rely on rainwater to help water these seedlings. But when it comes to the dry season, they are struggling to get water to even drink. For example, at Akamo Junior High School, they have a water system. But when we go to Anisore Junior High School, Kurugu Junior High School, the water system, the boreholes are far, it's for the communities. So when they are to fetch these waters in the morning to water their seedlings, they have to struggle with the community members, because early morning, everybody is rushing to fetch water. So I think it's also a challenge for them to take proper care of the seedlings as well. So they even suggested that they wanted to start a school garden initiative, but with the limited funding for us to be able to get a borehole to the school, they are not able to start that kind of school garden initiative. But GAYO is also doing her little way to support the community. GAYO have been able to draw 3 boreholes in the Kandeka community. But these 3 boreholes, it can't supply everyone in the community. So water system have been a challenge for these girls to be able to help when it comes to climate change, tree planting initiatives in their communities.
Okay.
And I'll also say all these challenges are as a result of limited funding.
Okay.
So when girls are given the adequate resources and funding to be able to carry out their initiatives, they will be able to carry it out, and then they will execute it very well. Another challenge that our youth leaders also face is teenage pregnancy. So even though they educate them on menstrual health, they also take some aspects to serve as their mentors. So as they're educating them, they see them as their big sisters. But another challenge is that even though they are aware, by these girls, they still become pregnant, even in the junior high school level. So it has been a challenge, but the schools that we carry out these educations, the pregnancy level has reduced. Last year, those that were going to write BEC, we had about 6 cases of teenage pregnancy. That was last year. But this year, it's only 1 person who was pregnant. So I think that it has also reduced, but still the challenges still persist. And then these girls, when they're given the required resources, we are doing our own best in one way or the other to help them. but I think they still face challenges.
Okay.
So thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much, Khadija, for highlighting these challenges. We'll talk about strategies on how these challenges can be addressed. You've even highlighted some there, but in terms of collaboration, we'll delve into that. But I would like to move over to FAWE Ghana again. I just want to find out from you. I believe that there are still some challenges persisting. And so what strategies are you using to address some of these challenges, like in terms of your advocacy work, in terms of your capacity building work, institutional support? Just tell us some of the challenges that are so persistent in hindering the girl child to really scale up their initiatives, and how can these challenges be addressed, or how can we come up with a comprehensive solution to address these challenges?
Okay. Thank you very much for the opportunity. It's a big question. I think I'll try my best to delve into some of the challenges that we have. So first off, the major challenge we have is communication with regards to information. First off, there's a problem with access to the information. And even when it comes to access, ensuring that the information is the right information and it is age appropriate. That's number one. And then the second challenge also has to do with information, but it is information overload, where we have like a series of partners working in the same space and then working in the same area. So it's like we're telling the same human being that you are impacting on about, you're telling them the same thing, but it's from different mouthpieces. So then there's some kind of confusion in that regard. And then the other challenge has to do with ownership of the activities that we're implementing, how the communities we are engaging perceive the situation. And so if you don't get a community to buy in, then you have a problem, because then they see it as your solution and our problem, and there's no intersectionality in that regard, which is like a huge problem. And then there's also the situation of tradition and cultural perceptions, where I'll give an example. So in some of the communities that we're working within as part of our sexual health and reproductive education project, we are doing trainings, or we are doing advocacy around harmful traditional practices that affect sexual and reproductive health and gender equality, that impedes those things, like impedes the achievement of those areas. And then you'd realize that there's a situation of abuse, right? Or there's like some traditional practices like female genital mutilation, and then early marriages. So now you would ask why. And in certain cultural contexts, it's like we fear pregnancy because of the stigma it comes with. So the girl gets pregnant, and then the parents, the two parents, agree that, okay, since your son has gotten my daughter pregnant and nothing can be done about it, then we agree, and then take the boy's family pays the bride price, and so the two of them gets there's some form of agreement, and the girl moves into the boy's family. And so the situation of, oh, she got pregnant out of wedlock is addressed, hence there's no disgrace, right? And that is a cultural impediment that is there. The issue of female genital mutilation or cutting, we have communities now transporting the girls over to the Burkina Faso side in some of the communities that we're working in, because in their communities we've been able to get the chiefs to outlaw the practice. And so instead of doing it on the Ghana side, they do it on the Burkina Faso side, which you don't have any jurisdiction. Who can you report? So by the time the kid comes back, the thing has been done, and there's very little you can do about it. So that is like, these are some of the systemic challenges. And one interesting thing has to do with gender-based violence, intimate partner abuses, where in some communities, if you, the woman, you are abused and you go and report it to the police and you come back, you need to perform certain rituals. That's the belief. If you don't perform those rituals, there are two things that I've heard. sometimes it feels upset, but community members will tell you it happens. One is that if you don't do the rituals and you enter your house, you might go mad. That is a problem. Or if you don't do the ritual and then you end up getting intimate with your partner again, he might die. So these deeply rooted cultural perceptions, it's actually impeding progress on some of the activities that we're carrying out. And that makes it a bit of a challenge. So I mentioned the information overload. I mentioned the community ownership of forming the intersectionality, which is something that sometimes is very difficult because we go in proffering solutions instead of engaging them to find out what exactly are your priority areas with the problems that we think we've identified. And then there's the deeply rooted like cultural ideologies that also impede the successes or the inroads. Let me say something or give an example with regards to the information, the access, and then ensuring that it is right information. So I'm happy Khadija mentioned that teenage pregnancy in some of the communities they are working in has dropped. When somebody who does a lot of advocacy on sexual reproductive health, I feel very excited. However, the current trend is a bit scary. And if we don't take time, in the next 5-10 years, we're going to be having big issues. What are some of the issues? A lot of people, because they fear pregnancy other than STIs, are now going in for the different methodologies or services that are on with regards to access to contraceptives, right? So you would even have some parents, especially mothers, taking their children to the adolescent health corner and asking them to be put on the implant, the implant contraceptive. However, the advocacy or education stops there once that service has been rendered. So you'd realize that for a lot of these girls, it becomes more of what I call a license to kill. Now they know that they can sleep around because they won't get pregnant. However, this is leading to a lot of indiscriminate sex because at the end of the day, the disgrace that we would have gotten is prevented, which is getting pregnant. And so in the space to have indiscriminate sex, most of them are having unprotected sex, which low key, if we check the numbers, we're getting a lot of STI infections, especially amongst young people in the regions where these things are happening, where we're having a drop in teenage pregnancy numbers, but we're getting a rise in STI infections. So this is the information overload that we're talking about. We are only saying, oh, let them have access to the service, let them have access to the service, but we are not actually going deeper beyond just the service provision to say, in as much as you're having the service, all other contraceptives, with the exception of the condom, saves you from the STIs. Every one of them is just preventing pregnancy. It is the condom that prevents the STI infection and the pregnancy. So then let's do our advocacy and look at it differently. So these are some of the challenges that we have as an organization on the ground. I don't know if that has responded to your first question.
Yes.
Okay. Do I go on to the second question, or we can allow another person on the panel to respond to that? Right. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Amos. I think we have all highlighted the challenges being faced. I think the only institution we left to share the challenges is CAMFED. And so, Diana, I'll give you the floor to share. You talked about your alumni network, which is the Kama Girls, and they have been able to scale up your initiatives. They have been empowered in their own capacity to also start something and also educate young girls and empower young people. But aside from all of that, I would want to highlight what are the challenges? What are some of the challenges that you are facing in terms of delivering your initiatives, and even some of their initiatives, like your Kama Girls, some of the initiatives, the brilliant ideas that they have come up with. What exactly is preventing them from scaling them up, and how do you think we can scale them up?
Hi, Naomi, can you hear me? I think that maybe for the Kama challenge, I want to talk about the mindsets, the cultural challenges that we have because of where we operate. And so we're still having to work on the various mindsets of the various stakeholders, the districts that we work in. They are the girls. And so the girl is not supposed to be heard. The girl is supposed to be seen. And so when you have CAMA members leading in these front line of activities, there's that initial resistance. Why not the boy? Why are we leaving the boy behind? And I think that's the question that we get faced all the time. And so, for instance, enterprise components, you would have CAMA members being given the grants, and a few months down the line, if you're asking about what they've done with the grants they took for business, their husbands or partners or even their family member would have taken it and given it to the male, or the husband thinks that he has better use for the money, and then the woman might not be able to run the business as well as the man would. And so I think that we still have a bit more work to do when it comes to these mindset challenges we have, these cultural challenges, or the thoughts that we have around women and owning businesses or leading some conversations. We've done so well. I think all our stakeholders have done well in trying to, engage more. And so now you'd find most of the chiefs that we work with in these districts having to say that husbands are not supposed to take their wives' money or support us to roll out certain businesses or vocational skills or things, bring the men together to support our cause. So I think that we are on the way, but we still need to engage more in terms of having to accept that women can lead the change as much as men are as well. So I think that's might be the immediate challenge to share. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Diana, and to all of you for sharing these challenges. Indeed, listening to all the responses that I received, I see some of the challenges being highlighted. Like there's a bit of like similarities also, even though we are working in various sectors. Because I see for GAYO's initiatives, especially in the Upper East region, and what FAWE Ghana is also doing in the Upper East region, I see areas of synergy and collaboration. So that will lead me to my next question. How can we collaborate? How can we collaborate in terms of making sure that this meeting or this webinar is not just about having discussions, as we have come together as partners to have this event or to organize this event? How can our organizations work together beyond today's event to scale up some of these efforts that or initiatives we have going on in our various organizations? I'll start with you, GAYO, and then maybe Diana, you can follow, after which Amos would also follow, and then SheRise will come in. So GAYO, please take the floor.
Okay, thank you very much. I will say that GAYO and FAWE, then CAMFED Ghana, and then SheRise Ghana, how we can collaborate to expand climate education in various communities and schools in the Upper East region. I think when we are able to come together and collaborate, we will be able to reach in the Bongo district where we have only 3 partner schools, but CAMFED is already operating in the Bongo district. So when we are able to collaborate, we will be able to reach out to quite a number of schools by leveraging on CAMFED association, that's the CAMA members in the Bongo district, to lead the education to expand to other schools in the Bongo district and also other parts in the Upper East region. I understand CAMFED, they have a very wide reach when it comes to education. So if you are able to partner in terms of climate education, FAWE, SheRise Ghana, and then CAMFED, you'll be able to reach a number of schools. For example, in the Bongo district, other schools are asking, why is it that we chose only 3 schools in the Bongo district, and we are not expanding to other schools that also need our education. So when we are able to collaborate, we'll be able to expand to other girls, and then we will lead the initiative, and our impact will also increase. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Amos, I think you can take the floor. Tell us how you think a collaborative effort amongst these partner organizations can actually scale up our various initiatives and also help empower the communities that we serve.
I was about to say that you're about to give me a big position that I am not able to make decisions like this. However, I believe that as organizations, collaborations are the only way we can survive, especially in the current climate of funding that we have, where donors are leaning more towards like consortiums than individual organizations. So it's good. This conversation has started. The other exciting thing about this is the fact that we are all doing things that align and are very complementary. So GAYO is working in climate, but with young people. FAWE is doing sexual reproductive health, but with young people. SheRise is empowering SheRise is empowering young people through tech. So I believe that beyond this conversation, there are, and then of course there's CAMFED. Sorry, it's a bit all in there. We are all complementing each other in whichever ways that we're working. I believe that the opportunities are very glaring. It is how we move forward from here. And for somebody like me, not talking from an organizational perspective, when talking from a personal perspective, I believe like partnerships are like great when people are aligned. And so now coming back and wearing the FAWE hat, I think we can look at what the space is looking like right now and what opportunities can be capitalized on. Again, the most prudent thing has more to do with which areas that we work in. And it's so exciting to hear, oh yeah, we've got a lot of projects in the Upper East, we've got something in like in the northern areas. And so again, as an organization, FAWE is doing like some projects in the upper East, which is like a fertile ground to actually capitalize on lessons. And so we can have further collaborations and conversations from here. We're doing something in education. GAYO, CAMFED, SheRise are all in that space. How can we come together and then create a beautiful? I always say this is a chaotic bowl of salad. We can only make it tasty when we know how to put in the right amount of ingredients and how we are able to mix it very well so that there's some kind of uniformity, and then at the end of the day, the end product is appealing to everybody. So FAWE is open, to use the term of the current president, FAWE is open for business. We are looking forward to partnerships that would make impact, not just on organizational level, but then impact communities and then the areas where we work. We are also open to collaborations in terms of policy, which is something that I believe that Dinah, we can arrange to have these conversations on the sideline with regards to some experience within how we can, as two organizations, influence policy in education. So these are areas of collaborations that are there. And I believe that whichever ways, whenever there is some kind of idea that comes, we should be able to reach out across the aisle to say, hey, this is what we're doing. How does it align with the organization's interest, and how can we even fit in if it doesn't align? It's an ever-changing world. So if, let's say, we started and said, oh, we're only doing education and ensuring more girls are in school. Now we're saying that it shouldn't just be going to school. It should be exploring all the other opportunities. And you see, through this, there's like top of everybody's head, there's some kind of collaboration between FAWE and SheRise, where there's some tech activity involved. So I believe that, yeah, we're open for business. We just need to have that seat at the table and then make the big decisions that brings in the big money. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Amos, for that submission. We will move over to SheRise. By the way, Amos is SheRise Technology, not SheRite. But yeah, SheRise,
Hi,
Bernard, if you are
Naomi.
here,
I just
you can just
wanted
tell
to,
us how you think we can collaborate as partner organizations to scale up our various efforts and initiatives. Yeah, I think you wanted to say something.
yes, I was just going to add on to what Amos had said, and that would be mine. And I think he said most of the things. And just wanted to give an
Hello,
example.
Diana.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me? Yes, so I was adding on to what Ellie had shared. Just to say that indeed our programs are complementing each other. And I have just one typical example that currently we have tertiary scholarships. FAWE has tertiary scholarship. And then just recently we realized that one of the girls on our scholarship is also on your scholarship. And so if we do not do enough collaboration, we'll just be duplicating our efforts. And as Ellie had rightly said, the donor climate is not looking very good. And so with all these limited funding we have, we cannot not have the collaboration conversations. GAYO is doing climate. We are also doing climate both in school and out of school. And I mean, we have the school, GAYO has the technology, the education. And so how can we just leverage on what GAYO is doing? And then because we already have these girls as learner guides in the schools. So it's just for us to say that GAYO, we have 3,000 learner guides in over 1,000 schools, train them to be climate smart activists. And then we move because we do have a climate smart program that we are running as well. But I'm sure that this conversation might be different. So definitely, I think that it shouldn't end here because we are complementing each other and we don't want to duplicate efforts like we have seen in that one example. I'm sure if we continue to drill down, we'll see that there are other girls who are being supported by us, by FAWE, by other institutions, and they might be taking that for granted in that regard. So that's all I wanted to add. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Diana, for that submission. So I'll move over to Bernard. Bernard, if you're here, kindly make your submission and then we can quickly wrap up our conversation. Hi, Bernard, are you here? Okay, I don't think Bernard is on the call. And so we'll move over to...
Hello, Naomi.
Hi.
Sorry,
Yeah.
but I'm back.
Yeah. Okay. So I would want you to just tell us, as partner organizations, we have come together to organize this webinar to celebrate women. We have heard about the numerous initiatives that each organization is doing in the various capacities to empower girls to lead, to empower women in the various communities we serve. I just want to hear from you. How do you think we can all collaborate, even after today's meeting? How do you think we can all collaborate to scale up these efforts that we are doing in our various institutions?
Thank you very much. Yes, it has been a very eye-opening session. Some of the ways that we can continue this is to, number one, have a roundtable among the various organizations to be able to discuss these strategies in detail, look at what has worked, what has not worked, make some notes, and be able to see where one is performing better could be the solution to another's challenge. So this roundtable sessions, quarterly or annually, can actually help to throw more light on this and to be able to refine some of our strategies. The second approach could be we finding ways to integrate some of the programs that we run. FAWE is doing very well in the education. GAYO is doing climate training. CAMFED has an alumni. SheRise is trying to use technology as an enabler. How can we co-create some of the programs and also see how each organization can integrate or feed some of their existing strengths into the existing program that others are also running. And thirdly is to find a way to create a larger community of the beneficiaries. Currently, we have siloed beneficiaries that have their own networks. That is very great, but I believe that there is power in numbers. If we are able to have a greater community, say, women in crisis or leading young girls, we bring all the FAWE, the GAYO beneficiaries onto one large platform. It could give them opportunity to interact with a larger number of people to be able to learn from what is doing and to draw energy together. Two different organizations in the same zone. With that platform, they could be able to collaborate, and together they can do something stronger. I believe these are just a few of the ways that we can actually partner to leverage our strengths and be able to support our weaknesses and spread the coverage across the country to support these young girls in the amazing work that they are doing and to make them the leaders of the future that we want for them. Thank you very much.
Thank you to Bernard, and thank you all so much for the great discussion we've had today. I believe we have been able to share our initiatives. We've been able to identify areas of strengthening. We've been able to identify the challenges we are facing and how we are going to resolve those challenges. It's been a beautiful conversation for me. I have learned a lot from various organizations, and I'm hoping that this partnership will not just be for this event. Even after the event, we are all going to collaborate and work together to strengthen the work that we are all doing. Before we wrap up, I would like each of you, I know there are a lot of young people watching us. There are a lot of people on this call. We even have some of our program participants, our scholarship beneficiaries on the call. Before we wrap up, I would love for each of you to speak directly to the girls watching us today, those who are dreaming to lead but are facing many systemic gaps and facing many barriers. In just one word or in a sentence, what would you tell them? What would be in just maybe 20? I'll give each of us 20 seconds because it's already 11:30 and we're hoping to close by 11:30. So before you go, I would want to hear from you. Just tell us something. Speak directly to the young girls watching us today who are dreaming to lead but are facing barriers. Maybe Bernard, since you're here, I'll take you. And then after that, we'll go to Diana and then Amos. And then, of course, Khadija will wrap it up for us.
Okay, thank you. So I would say to every young girl that is listening to me or to us today, remember that you are the now and you are the future. Whatever you do today is going to shape the future that your family has, your community have, and the global world will accordingly be affected. Every time you help your family or the community to solve a problem, every time you speak up, you are already leading. Leadership doesn't always wear the title or wait for permission. It starts with the courage to care, the strength to act, and the confidence to believe that your ideas matter. As SheRise, we see you, the girl who helps the mother, the girl who teaches her friends about digital tech tools, and the one that dreams about building something bigger than herself. You are the bridge between tradition and technology. You are the link between resilience and hope. So keep learning, keep leading, keep lifting others as you rise. Because when you lead, your community becomes stronger. And when you are valued, your family thrives. And when your voice is heard, the world changes. Never forget, you are visible, you are valuable, and you are powerful. Keep that, and all the best to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Bernard. I'm equally inspired. I see the reactions in the comments. Really, really good. Diana, Please, you can take the floor now.
I was going to say that Bernard has said it all for us. Yes, we see you. The change is you. In CAMFED, we believe in the girl. Everything we do is about the girl. And so we don't take any girl for granted. So keep going, and I'm sure we'll definitely will see ourselves at the top. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Amos.
Can I can I actually ask if we recorded what Bernard said? I think it would make for a great sound bite, like as an occasional reminder to ourselves as organizations and what we do. And so I would jump on the same boat with Dinah and say, yes, Bernard has actually given a perfect conclusion to to this whole activity. If I try to say anything, I'll just spoil it. So thumbs up to Bernard, and thank you for the inspiring words that you've shared. And I hope it goes a long way to help us as organization in the mission that we carry and how we impact the girls. And like very, very honestly, I think we should just take that bit of Bernard's conclusion and then share it out occasionally to people because it's very inspiring. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Khadija, please take the floor. Even though we are all saying that Bernard has wrapped it up for us.
Okay. To all my colleague young ladies listening to me, you are not too young to lead. Your voice, your ideas, and your actions have the power to transform your communities and protect Mother Earth. So sometimes when I normally tell people that I have over 10 years community volunteering experience, people will always ask, Khadija, and how old are you? Because I started very young. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Khadija, and thank you to our wonderful panelists for such an engaging and thought-provoking discussions. What we've heard today, it reinforces our truth, or one truth, that when girls are trusted, when girls are equipped, when girls are supported, they don't just adapt to crisis, they transform them into opportunities for change. From education to technology, from classroom to communities. We see a lot of Ghanaian girls proving that leadership has no age or gender. It's only just courage. They only need the opportunity and then the support, and then they can do extraordinary things. Let's continue to stand beside these young girls, open doors for them, and amplify their voices as we move forward towards development in our various sectors. I don't know if anyone has questions for our panelists. The floor is open. You can just quickly raise your hand, or you can drop them in the chats, and then they would respond to them for you. If you have any questions, you can quickly raise your hand. Otherwise, we can proceed with the next segment. Does anyone have any questions? Okay. Okay, if we do not have any further questions, I would like to call on our rapporteurs, if they're available, just to give us a summary of what has been discussed, our key takeaways from this discussion, and then we'll proceed to discuss next steps from this meeting. So if our rapporteur is on, kindly take the floor and give us a report of what has been discussed in this webinar. Thank you.
Hi everyone, good morning. I hope you're all doing great. So I'll be presenting a brief highlight of what has been discussed so far. Truth be told, I've really enjoyed this session with all the panelists and everyone. Yes. So we heard impact stories from our partners. Khadija gave us how the adaptation and resilience project is going on in the northern part of Ghana. And also we had Amos tell us about how they are promoting gender equality through education with initiatives that ensure that the girl child is enrolled and retained in school. Also, we heard from Bernard, SheRise Technology, focusing on digital empowerment for girls. Through their programs in the northern Ghana, women are being trained to use mobile phones and digital tools to support their parents and also communicate vital climate adaptation messages and also promote entrepreneurship. From Dinah, she highlighted how CAMFED has supported over 1 million girls from basic to senior high to also tertiary levels, and how also their mentorship programs that are empowering menstrual hygiene and also giving economic impact from the alumni. Also, from the panel discussion, the highlights from it is that true leadership during crisis is all about inclusion and self-actualization. So when girls are given the space, they create solutions and lead the change. From Khadija, we got to know that 80% of these trainers are actually girls who are climate ambassadors, leading activities in the northern Ghana, planting trees and promoting menstrual hygiene alongside climate adaptation initiatives. From SheRise, their goal is to reshape power dynamics by actually positioning girls as visible leaders using digital tools. From CAMFED, their model of peer mentorship ensures that there's continued leadership beyond school and also through the Command network. All the panelists identified a lot of challenges. These challenges are when it comes to menstrual hygiene facilities in school and also the limited access to water for tree planting initiatives, and also the fact that there are teenage pregnancy and social cultural stigma. And also we took from this discussion that there's also this information gap and a lack of community ownership to this intervention, making it persistent, and also the fact that there's also a gender bias. So this has been some of the things we've highlighted from this discussion, and we are hoping that this will serve as an information to other partners to also do more to collaborate and also come up with initiative, has agreed or has proposed by one of the panelists that there should be a roundtable to actually discuss all this, to know how to fill the gaps that are in between, to create a pool of network or a platform that brings together all these beneficiaries to ensure that each person is not left behind and people are not receiving double opportunities. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Madam Rapporteur Gifty, for that summary of our discussion. It was very detailed. I don't think she left out anything, so she really deserves the applause. So let's give her that reaction in the comment section. Okay, before we go, I just want us to know that we were supposed to have a very beautiful launch of a Girls Declaration 2025. This Girls Declaration is basically a well put together document of our commitments as partners from this meeting. And so we are going to keep in touch with you. We'll get back to you and then we'll put this declaration together and share with all of you so that you all will know that aside from this meeting, aside from this engagements that we are having, these are the commitments as FAWE Ghana, as GAYO, as CAMFED Ghana, and as SheRise Technology. These are the commitments we are going to make to ensure that young girls are empowered to lead. They're empowered to lead in their various communities. They're empowered to lead and call for change and development in their various communities. So we would engage you on that, and hopefully we'll share that by Monday. And you can also reach out to us. My name is Naomi Dako, and I have been your moderator. You can reach out to me via email at ndako@ fawegh.org. If you have any questions and if you want to engage us further, not engage us as in FAWE Ghana, but I mean, if you want to engage any of the partner organizations, you can, they can leave their official email addresses in the chat box, and then you can pick it up and then have those conversations with them. But I believe that it's been an insightful conversation. We've had a very fruitful discussion, and I'm hoping, like I keep saying, I'm hoping that this partnership will not just end here in this meeting. We would continue to collaborate, we would continue to engage, and even engage our community members outside of the participants here to see how best we can scale up our initiatives and our efforts. So please, for SheRise, you can drop your official email address in the comments section or in the chat, so that if anyone has questions to ask about the organization and what you're doing here, they can engage you. CAMFED Ghana, you can do same. GAYO, you can also do same, so that people can get in touch with you before we close. I would like to call on Mr. Richard Amweni to give the closing remarks, since he wasn't here to give the official opening remarks. I would like to call on Mr. Amweni to give the official remarks, but as he prepares to hop on the call, I would like to just hear from you, all participants. I want to see in the chat, what have you taken? What has been your key takeaway from the session in just one word? We want to hear from you, our official speaker or keynote speaker. We would want to hear from our panelists. What are your key takeaways from the discussions we've had? Our participants, we want to hear from you. Please share in the comments or in the chats. Let us know your key takeaway from this discussion, so that it doesn't seem as though we came to discuss things and then we are going away with nothing. I believe that we are going home with a substance. So I would want to see that substance in the chats. So please drop them in the chats. Please drop them in the chats in just one word or in a sentence. Let us know. Selena Atayoko says, you are never too young to lead. Yes, that is one key takeaway for me as well. You are never too young to lead. You are never too young to lead. Please share your key takeaways with us in the chats before we wrap up the call. You are never too young to lead. Any more chats, any more comments? Okay. I'll just reiterate some of the key things that are words that our panelists shared with us before we brought the panel session to a close. That when you lead, your community becomes stronger. Imagine that. Imagine you have a very brilliant idea. Imagine you have this beautiful initiative that could actually solve problems or crisis in your various communities, and you keep it to yourself. Bernard is telling us that when you lead, your community becomes stronger. And so we should take up the initiatives to lead and make our community stronger. Diana mentioned that we should keep going. Whatever it is you have started to even do, keep going, and we will see you at the top. You are never too young to lead. You are not too young to lead. So please, wherever you find yourself, whatever crisis that may exist in your various communities, there are so many innovative initiatives that you can come up with to resolve those challenges. Be empowered in this session, be empowered with the various works that these organizations or these partner organizations are doing. Be empowered to lead and bring about change and development in your various communities. I see Susie Sogbaka say, my key takeaway, this is from Bra Eli. He says, leadership is not always from the top. It can begin from the back. Yes, you don't always have to be at the forefront to lead. You can come up with an initiative, but you ride on the backs of your community members to effect the change that you want to see. And Maja Issa also says, when you get the opportunity to serve and serve very well. I believe we have all had some substance, and we've taken away some substance from our meeting. And so I would end here and call on Mr. Amweni, Mr. Richard Amweni, who is the Executive Director or National Coordinator for FAWE Ghana, to give the closing remarks, and of course, we bring the session to a close. Please hold on, and then we'll take a group picture before we log off. So please, after the closing remarks, don't log off immediately. Kindly turn your cameras on, and then we'll take a group photo. So Mr. Amweni, please take the floor, and then we'll come back to take the group photo, and we'll bring the session to a close. Thank you. Video arms.
Okay. Good morning to you all, and thank you for the wonderful presentation from all the partners. Diana, you know you owe me something, so I'll come for it. So on behalf of FAWE and on behalf of all the partners, SheRise Technology, CAMFED, GAYO, we thank you all for the wonderful presentation. And I believe you have inspired and impact into the life of these young girls. And I know that they will pick this lesson from here and move on to become the girls that we want them to be. And we all will be proud of them. So let not end this collaboration. As I keep on saying, we are not competing. Let us collaborate and support each other so that we can make a great impact. So on that note, I thank you all and I wish you all the best for the day.
Thank you all so much. Please, let's turn on our cameras as we take a group photo before we log off. Please, let's turn on our cameras. Quickly turn on your camera. Okay. Please turn on your camera. Let's take a group photo. Okay, last one. Last one. Okay. Okay, let me switch to this side. Yeah, and let me take the last one before we go. Sorry. Yeah. Please hold on. Hold on. Okay, last one. Thank you all so much for joining. It's been a pleasure having you on board. The event has been a success, and I wish you all the best. Please go and lead the change that you want to see in your various communities. Be empowered and know that you have the capabilities, you have the strength, and whatever barriers you may face, you have what it takes to overcome those barriers to scale up your initiatives. So thank you all so much for joining. We hope to stay in touch, and we hope to see you again in our next webinar. Have a good day. Bye.
Thank you very much, Naomi. Khadija, kindly stay on the call. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Naomi.